Hey, I'm Peter, and welcome to Waking from the Fire. Now, that title, did it get you? Did it annoy you? How could I know why you can't lose weight? Now, I might know you personally, but chances are I don't. So how can I be so presumptuous? Well, I don't mean to be presumptuous. What I mean to be is direct and authentic. And I want to share with you what I've observed for 30 years of being on this health journey. Why can't people lose weight? Now, it's not because they're weak-willed, and it's not because they lack willpower. I'll tell you that right off the bat. And it's not just because they can't get motivated, or they're too busy, or they'll start next week, or it costs too much. Right? Those are all excuses. And I don't say that in a judgmental way, because I make excuses about things that are difficult for me in my life. Regarding health, it just, for me, it clicks. It makes sense. I use nutrition and I use exercise to look and feel the best I can possibly feel. I've connected that to being a better father to my 3 children, the people that I love more than anything in this world. I also want to look good. If you and I meet somewhere, or if you watch one of my videos, I want to make sure I look good, that I walk my talk, but it's grounded in authenticity, and the food that I eat are whole plant-based. Well, I'm going to go into that in a couple of seconds anyway. But what I want to talk about in this podcast is why you can't lose weight, and have an honest discussion, even though it's just me, but you could talk back if you want. Certainly leave a comment, send me an email. I would love to hear from you, especially if something I say strikes a nerve. So, what I've been doing for years is speaking to audiences, large and small, around the world. And what I've been sharing with them as a licensed physical therapist and a nutritionist, my expertise on how to design a great menu, a diet if you want to call it that, right? So I go on site and we design a menu together. I literally could put up on the screen or on a dry erase board, let's design an amazing meal, an amazing daily menu. Let's look at the total calories that we should be eating. By the way, I'm going to give you some resources, and maybe I'll put them on attached to this podcast when I release it. The first thing that we should do if we're trying to lose weight is figure out how many calories we should be eating. Now think about that for a second. You want to lose weight, right? Do you know how much food you should be eating to lose weight? There's a good chance you don't. I know that because of talking to thousands of people over 30 years. Now, it's not because you're stupid or you're not educated. This information is not readily accessible, and it's not shared really by a lot of the media that tries to direct us in directions regarding health that are misguided, in my opinion. I don't want to judge them. So how many calories should you be eating? If you go to my old website, peterkfitness.com, right on the top, you don't have to buy anything or subscribe to anything. You type your age, height, weight, and activity level, and you get something called a BMR, basal metabolic rate. Have you ever heard that before? Well, if you haven't and you've tried to lose weight, then congratulations, you've just learned one of the secrets to weight loss. And as this podcast goes on, I'm going to give you the secret to sustainable weight loss. But to start, we absolutely must know how much food we should eat to either lose weight or gain weight. There's people that want to gain weight. You might be one of those, and I respect that. Or maintain a healthy weight. Maybe you yo-yo and fluctuate. You want to maintain. So that basal metabolic rate, let's just say it's 1,500 calories a day. Now, if you know anything about calories, you might say, Peter, that is not even close to enough calories. I'm always hungry and I need more food. It's not going to be enough. Just to give you a perspective, doesn't a Whopper have like 1,000 or 1,200 or almost 1,500 calories depending on the toppings that you put? One Whopper, right? I grew up on Whoppers. That's why I think Whoppers came to mind. But I hate the phrase trust me, but I want you to believe what I'm saying. I don't know, because I've been doing this for so long that I just know it to be true. If you Eat good quality food, mostly plant-based. Now, you don't have to be vegan or vegetarian, but mostly plant-based. The majority of your food, fruit, vegetables, nuts, seeds, that's everything, right? And whole grains in moderation. And then supplement it with good quality animal protein, organic eggs, organic chicken, organic lamb, grass-fed beef, duck if you love it, in moderation. The healthiest people in the world are not vegans, they're not vegetarians. They're omnivores, but the predominance of their diet is plant-based. So eat as many vegetables as you want, but be careful how you make them. Don't make a giant loaded baked potato and say, that's my vegetable, because that'll defeat the purpose. You know that. You know better than that, right? So eat mostly plant-based, supplement it with good quality animal protein. Now, don't worry about the studies that you're hearing that just because you're eating meat, you're more likely to have heart disease, cancer, stroke, diabetes, and all these things. What I think those studies are leaving out are the nuances. They're talking about conventional food, conventional protein, that the animals are fed grains, corn, and wheat, which they're not supposed to be eating, or soy, corn and soy. They're genetically modified. It messes with the animal's digestive system. It creates inflammation. Then you and I eat that animal product. We absorb that unhealthy meat through our digestion process, and that affects us. So good quality protein. That's why I say organic. By law, in the United States at least, if a product is labeled USDA organic, by law it cannot contain pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, genetically modified organisms, additives, preservatives, artificial colors, sweeteners, etc. None of that. So it makes it easy. Now I know it costs more to eat organic. I know. So it's a personal decision. Maybe you can forego something else that you're spending money on. For me personally, I look at my budget, I spend the majority of my money on food for myself, for my children, and for the people that I love. You might see that I do these friends and family parties. I feed my guests the most delicious, healthy food because I just know it's going to affect their lives. So let's back up. Let's get focused because I can go on and on about this, obviously. Find your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, how many calories you should be eating. Then eat mostly plant-based. Doesn't have to be complicated. You can just saute up broccoli. Watch one of my videos called Burnt Broccoli, where literally you chop broccoli florets, put it in a blasted 500-degree oven, and a cast iron skillet is awesome, for a few minutes with some olive oil, salt. Take it out, put some slivered or chopped garlic, cook it a couple more minutes, and in 10 minutes you've got burnt broccoli. It's absolutely delicious. Drizzle some really good extra virgin olive oil. I prefer Greek because I'm Greek, but you use the olive oil that you love. A fresh sprinkling of sea salt, and now you've got broccoli elevated in such a simple way, and your kids are going to love it. It's one of my kids' favorite dishes, burnt broccoli. You think that would be... What's your favorite dish? Oh, Dad, my dad makes burnt broccoli and it's pretty amazing. That's an incredible thing for a kid to say, so that makes me very excited. Okay, so find out your total calories, BMR. Then eat mostly plant-based, supplemented by good quality animal protein. You got it? Okay, now let's talk about what might happen, because I don't want to predict anything for you because I don't know you. I'm going to talk about the people that I've met and myself. This has happened to me. I have a plan. I have a goal. I know how much to eat. I know what to eat. And now I don't do it. Why? That's the $1,000 question. That's what I'm almost obsessed about. I want to know what motivates me and demotivates me. Now, a lot of this is subconscious. That's the challenging part. So you and I have just got to sit quietly and think about this. I know what I should eat for breakfast. It's in the refrigerator, or I made it, or I know where to get it, but I don't. I either don't eat breakfast or I choose something else. Why? That's the moment to reflect, because you got a health goal. You want to lose weight or maintain weight or gain weight, whatever it is. You have a plan. You know how many calories and you know what to eat. And now you don't do it. That is an amazing place to be present, because if you're present at that moment, then you can figure out what's holding you back. Why are you not following through? And in my experience, I say this humbly, from my personal experience and my professional experience, speaking and working with thousands of people for over 30 years, it's something inside of us. What I have observed, speaking to therapists, reading psychology books, is a lot of it goes back to childhood. A lot of it's related to childhood trauma. Now, I'm not saying you have to have been beaten. I have so many friends. Peter, I had a great childhood. My mother and father were married. They were not divorced. I grew up in an upper middle class home. So what's going on? We come from these different backgrounds, yet we can feel the same. When I started sharing excerpts of my memoir, a result of the 4 years of work that I've been doing personally with a therapist, a 12-step program, writing a journal, and then that leading into a memoir. When I started sharing that, people, and I've shared this with my audience in the past, people, friends, strangers, people I've known for 30 years, people I've never met before, would email me privately or message me privately, because this is sensitive stuff, and say the same thing, almost exact same thing. Peter, we had different childhoods, but I feel exactly the same. I had an abusive childhood. I hate to label it, pathologize it, if that's even a word. But my childhood had trauma in it. And I see that now only with the help of a therapist, 12-step program, and writing the memoir. It's right in front of my face. I can't deny it. So for me, it's obvious. There was abuse, there was neglect, there was shame, there was abandonment, there was suicide. For you, maybe there wasn't anything so obvious, but it could still be there. Or it could be from the past. It doesn't have to be childhood past. It could be some past where there's a learned behavior. There's a learned low self-worth. I'm not good enough. There's a hole that we don't even know it's there, that's unfillable, that we try to fill with food, drugs, cigarettes, sex, gambling, no judgments. We all do this in some form. How do I know this? Because we've been studying this. Psychologists and therapists and people that are aware have been looking at us as a civilization for decades, for centuries. We're trying to fill a hole. That's what addiction is. It's not the cigarette that we crave and want so much. It's the feeling, because there's something that's missing inside that wants to be healed. A lot of it is subconscious, and we go to substances or people or things, binging on Netflix. Again, no judgments, but that's what's going on for a lot of us. We're trying to fill a hole. We're trying to feel better. And food is one of the easiest ways to do that. So, to back up, to clarify, to get focused again, you've got this great plan. You're ready to do it, and then you don't. And then something comes up like, well, it's too hard, I don't have the money, I don't have the time. Is that really true? Sometimes you don't have the time. Sometimes you don't have the money. But you can do something today, right? You can do 5 minutes of some type of an exercise routine. If you're wheelchair bound, then you can do something with your upper body. If you're upper body bound, there's something most likely that we can do today. We can certainly make better food choices. If we have the resources to buy food in the supermarket, at a restaurant, at a deli, we could make a better choice. But if we don't, that's the moment to sit and reflect. What's really going on for me? Am I feeling that hole at this particular time? It's morning. I'm rushing for work. I'm supposed to have this healthy breakfast that I planned, and I don't. I instead grab the whatever's convenient, the donut, the drink at Starbucks, whatever is going to give you a jolt, right? And that's the other thing too. We get high literally from fat, sugar, and salt. that's in most of the processed food or the food that we eat outside of the home. Fat, sugar, and salt are essential, but they're in massive quantities in processed food that we consume outside of the home. And caffeine. Caffeine is another drug that makes us high, that quells that uneasiness inside, that panicky, that something's wrong, something's not right. And it gets us going over that. It gets us to smash through it, right? And then we're at a place, we haven't eaten well. We've consumed some of these products that get us high and then we crash and we want to feel better again. Or we're consuming products, food specifically, with artificial ingredients, with inflammatory processes, with hormones and antibiotics that disrupt our digestion. You know, when your gut is disrupted, when you don't have a healthy gut, your brain is affected. You know that the gut, you probably heard this, right? This is so incredible. The gut is now considered a second brain and actually might have more neurotransmitters than the actual brain. So taking care of our gut is so important. And so if you're not eating healthy and you have a goal to eat healthy, and you have a goal to do an exercise plan, maybe you've got foggy brain, maybe you can't get focused because you're not eating healthy. So how do you start eating healthy? Well, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to sum it up. That is the moment. You got your plan, you got your intentions, you don't do it. That is the moment to sit quietly with a mirror in front of you. You can either literally do it or just sit quietly. And the mirror could be a metaphor, and reflect what's going on for me. What emotion am I feeling right now? Identify the emotion. Is it panic? Is it sadness? Is it loneliness? Is it resentment? Is it anger? I don't know if those are all emotions, but those are all kinds of things that come up for me, at least in the people that I talk to about this. What am I feeling? Am I feeling abandoned? Am I feeling shame? Am I feeling hate? Am I feeling fear? If you and I can identify that emotion, what it will do is get us present. Now, it might hurt. It might hurt to feel that emotion. That's why we reach for the food. That's why we reach for the cookie or the soda, because we don't want to hurt. And it's a self-preservation technique. But if we keep doing this, we're going to keep getting stuck. And then you'll be watching this podcast in 10 years, why I can't lose weight, all over again, right? Let's just cut to the chase. Let's take care of this right now. Address what the emotion is. What are you feeling? And is it real? Is it really there? Are you really in danger? Jill Mackey, who was a therapist on one of my podcasts, you have to check that out. How to be better, not just feel better. It's an awesome podcast with her. She taught me some great strategies on how to get present. One is just rub your fingertips together. When I'm driving down the street and I have this moment of panic, I'm aware of it now. I'm angry at the guy, cut me off. I want to kill him. It's so insane, right? I don't even know that guy. He doesn't know me. Who cares? I just do this little rolling of my fingers and it gets me present. I also breathe deeply. There's a lot of research of breathing deeply can get us out of that fight or flight mode. There's so much good research. I think it's called polyvagal theory. Maybe I'll put a link there. Polyvagal theory, about we're always in this anxious state. One of the states that we could be in is fight or flight, and we really can't do anything good. We can't certainly think straight. We can't eat healthy if we're in a fight or flight mode. And a lot of times we're not even in danger. It's all in our head. So I'm driving down the street. I'm angry. I'm gently, one hand's on the wheel and one hand is doing this. Then I'm breathing. And another thing Jill shared with me is when I'm eating, I'm just eating. In this country, we eat on the go. In other countries, in Europe, they sit down. The meal is special. It's sacred. So now when I eat, I try to sit. I'm not always good at it. I try to sit, chew my food, and taste it, like Jill told me. Chew, taste, take your time, enjoy, be present. Doing that, those three things right there, is very often enough to get you connected to how you're feeling, and then you can start to create the solution of why you can't lose weight. You now have a solution. Oh, it's because I'm stressed. And when I'm stressed or feeling panicky, that's when I overeat. Or I'm so tired at 3 o'clock That's when I need a boost of energy to get through the rest of my day, to pick up the kids or to finish work, to meet with my boss, whatever. Those are great times to stop and reflect. What am I feeling? Get present, breathe, and then make a better choice. If you just did that today, what would happen would be this negative feedback loop, eat unhealthy, feel worse, eat more unhealthy, don't go to the gym, starts to become a positive feedback loop. Be aware, make a better choice. Have more energy, have more clarity. Get to the gym or do the workout. Because I went to the gym and did the workout, I want to eat better. Now I want to have better relationships. And now I want to sleep better. It's all connected. Now you have a positive feedback loop. Okay. I hope that stuff makes sense for you. And what I want to encourage you is start slowly. Don't beat yourself up. Be gentle. Start by finding your BMR. Start by eating mostly plant-based with good animal protein. And then if you come up against something that you made a plan and you can't do it, sit quietly, reflect, identify that emotion. And then the more you do that, the more likely you are to make progress. Then I also encourage you, if you haven't already, seek a really good therapist. Interview them before you hire them as your therapist. You are hiring them. They are working for you. I happen to have an amazing therapist that I wish I could share with you, but Frank is just one person and he's kind of semi-retired. But I know there's other people like Frank out there. I know there's other great therapists. Maybe a 12-step program is right for you if you do have obvious trauma from the past and not so obvious, there's just something not right. A 12-step program can be right for you. And journaling. You don't have to write a memoir, but maybe journaling. Write down how you feel, the emotions. Oh, and the last thing, I almost forgot. Track every single thing you eat and drink, at least for a week. 2 weeks will change your life. 2 weeks will change your life. For 1 week, on an app like MyFitnessPal, track every single thing you eat and drink for a week. If you do that, you're going to start to see your patterns. You're going to start to see why you can't lose weight, and you're going to change it. I'm here to tell you that you can absolutely lose weight just by starting with some of these strategies. And then reach out to me. Let's connect. Let's talk. And we'll continue the relationship on the other side. And if we make these great relationships and we stay committed to them, we stay accountable, then we're more likely to succeed, right? Okay. Good luck. Until next time, I'm Peter.